If you dedicate yourself and really follow your interests, you will start to see really exciting opportunities come your way. I'm Amit Gudka, one of the founders of Bulb Energy. So we are a renewable energy supplier. We supply homes and businesses across the UK and now also internationally, so in France, Spain and the US, with 100% renewable electricity and carbon neutral gas. We launched in 2015, so we started working on it in 2014, we launched in 2015. We now supply nearly 1.7 million homes across the UK. We are, and a number of businesses. We have a team of 750 people based in London, and a few based in our international cities too. So yeah, it's been quite a ride over the last 5 years. We have revenues now, annual revenues in excess of £1.5 billion. My role within the company, so I started out, my previous career, I used to trade gas and electricity. I did that for nearly 9 years. So all of the purchasing of gas and electricity that we do, which is our largest cost and our most volatile cost, is what I manage. That has some very close overlaps with finance because of the way that we price, and that being such an important cost. So I've been heavily involved in the finances of the business. And on top of that, just as a founder, there are multiple things that always come up, and I'm often across those when no one else is. Well, so now I am now a dad of two. So I have two young kids. One's just turned 3, and our daughter's just turned 1. So that I'm very busy with them, and that's lovely. I really enjoy just really enjoying them growing up. I do think what's been really, music has been a big part of my life. So I started DJing when I was 16. Was really into UK garage music. That's what really got me into DJing. UK garage, grime, dubstep. That was all. That was all the stuff that I was into early on. I guess there was always part of me that wanted it to be more than just a love of music and going out, but actually really contributing to it. So by DJing, by running parties. And then after that, we progressed onto setting up a record label as well, which I spent many years doing. We did a number of underground releases, and that's still there. We haven't put any releases out for a few years, but now that the kids are getting a little bit older, hopefully I can start dabbling in that hobby, that side project again. So I think there's always been, big part of my life has been doing those things, as well as I think work has been, and setting up a business has also been doing something that I'm passionate about, and I'm fortunate that that's also something that I now making a living from as well. So I just think doing things that you're passionate about and trying to do them to your best is always just a good way forward. It reaps lots of benefits, whether it's in I think there were, the usual challenges of, making sure I applied myself when there were multiple other opportunities to do other things, and applying myself at the right time. And, I think that's the usual part of growing up that everyone goes through. And I think it's rare that you'll find, teenagers who are able to completely apply themselves, just given all of the other distractions around. And that's fine, and that's part of growing up. And I think that's what it's important. That's how you gain these life experiences and other things around it. I do. I think going to university was, I think initially on the academic side, I found quite a, I thought at school I was really good, and when I went to university, that kind of step up and sort of seeing the strength in how quickly things moved, how fast your course moved was quite a jump. I felt at the beginning. I think transitioning to work as well, just going from many years of being studying, of having long holidays, of not just having to work for 8, 9, 10 hours a day with a short lunch break. I think that transition is a challenge for everyone, even if you've done a bit of work experience. So I think I'd say those are some of the big challenges. But again, having spoken to and speaking to people along the way about what it's like going to university or what it's like going into work, I think really helped with that. Focus on your passions, really, get really into them, get deep into them, understand them, think about them, as many different angles about it as you can. Just really develop those interests. And over time and over years, that, once you've done years of that thing, it does develop into you just seeing more and more opportunities in those spaces. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight. And then there will be some people around you who have been basically a business person since they were a child, and that that's great and good for them. But I think for a lot of people, it's not like that. But if you dedicate yourself and really follow your interests, I think you can you will start to see really exciting opportunities coming your way. I like maths out of all my subjects, but I wouldn't say necessarily at that point it was a passion. But there were parts of that I really enjoyed, and then that led into the job, and the job was a good job. But within that's when I started to learn, because the area of banking that I was in was energy. And then I really developed a sort of a longer, it wouldn't necessarily, now it's become a passion, but, at the time that was a thing that I was working on, and I got very interested in it, and I kept on learning more and more about it. So I guess what I'm saying is, practically speaking, you can go down quite a sort of a classic route of just, studying hard at school, trying to do some work experience to understand the workplace, then applying for, maybe sort of quite classic jobs out of university, but good jobs. And within those, you can develop a whole breadth of understanding about different sectors. And from that, you will learn which areas of these am I interested in. You will start to naturally focus on those if you're working hard. And those things are the areas that do, these areas of interest do become areas of passion later on. And that's where you see the opportunities arise. So I think you can take quite a sort of classic approach to stuff. You don't necessarily need to be thinking of amazing business ideas when you're a teenager, but really focusing on those areas of interest in quite classic jobs, or even in your subjects, and really understanding those over time could lead to plenty of opportunities down the road. I also think more and more, I've really learned this in business, is you get presented with some very difficult choices at times, and I think always operating with integrity, and sometimes that's the harder thing to do. So telling the truth about presenting difficult news to people, I think these are, and being transparent, and I can take that back to my previous job. I can take that back to running a business now. I think it's just so important, and it sets you up in such good stead in life to just be transparent and be happy to, well, not happy because it's difficult, but be prepared to tell people the truth, and also tell people, own up to bad news. And I've really found that, particularly in business, we're 6 years into doing this, the decisions get harder and harder, and the things that you're weighing up become harder and harder. And acting with integrity, it just takes you so far.